Okay, I had fun on the last one. I have no idea how well this will go over as a standalone video because the last one I did was during a live. But we'll see. This is Lost in the Pond, guessing what these U.S. East Coast words mean. I live on the East Coast, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a caveat right now. It doesn't mean the same thing across the entire East Coast. Like the North and the South, that distinction exists whether we're all on the East Coast or not. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, link's going to be in the description below. Head on over, give Lawrence some love. Like the video while you're here. I'm not saying you have to, but if you are feeling generous, pressing that button under my face helps get the video out with the algorithm. And if you slap that big red button that says subscribe, then you get to help me stick it to YouTube for restricting my content. Let's do it.
Kinda could just mean, someone who's a grafter. You know, it's another word for grafter. Somebody who works really hard. You know, like me on these. I mean, you do most of the work, but me, I'm a grinder because I just put in so many hours of work doing this channel. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to words. Recently on this channel, I resurrected an old idea I had for a video series way back at the start of my channel.
I'm enjoying
this. The idea involved me guessing the meaning behind certain words and phrases from different regions of the United States. And after really enjoying the video in which I did that very thing for the southern United States, I thought today would be a good time to turn my attention to the East Coast. And so just like last time, my team came up with a list of 15 words that can be found in various regions of the East Coast. And today, I, a decidedly British person living in America's Midwest, I'm going to utilize my formidable guessing powers to have a stab at working out the definition of said words. So the first one up is Boge, or
Boge? I have no idea.
Or Bogue, or I don't know how you say this. I've never heard of it, which is weird because with a lot of these words I will have seen them while doing research for this channel. Boge or Bogue or Bogey is not one of those. I have no idea what it could possibly mean. Maybe it's a type of clothing of some kind. You know, the East Coast, just like here, does get a lot of snow. I'm thinking in terms of winter. You put on your Bogue to stay warm from the snow. I mean, it at least rhymes, so there is some, you know, rationale for this. I think it's a piece of clothing. Let's take a look. Just as before, these words have come from a listicle website, so they do have the definitions. A Boge or Bogue it's a cigarette. It just means a cigarette.
Where do you call it that on the East Coast? Like, we call it, the craziest thing we call a cigarette in the Southeast is a stogue with an ST instead of a B. Maybe it's comes from the same word. I have no idea.
Example, can you spare a Boge for me? And, you know, do let me know in the comments below if I am saying it right.
Bub means buddy. How you doing, bubba?
Bob. Don't know. Rhymes with pub. You know, my brain always goes there. It wants to find a rhyme or reason as to why these words exist. And for some reason I went straight to pub, as if this is some sort of alternative name for that. But it doesn't usually work out that way. That's something I am finding. So Bob could be, I don't know, Bob. All right, Bob. Maybe it's another name for Bob. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's how East Coasters pronounce it. So that's what I'm going with. Now then, Bob. It doesn't really seem to fit in with what I know about how East Coasters pronounce words. Apparently Bob is more main slang. It's basically the main equivalent of dude. You can use it as a kind of friendly term to refer to just about any guy. How's it going, Bob?
Yep.
Bubbler,
I don't know what the common phonetic is, but that's what we call a water pipe down here.
I'm very familiar with this word because bubbler is in fact used just north of me in Wisconsin, or parts of Wisconsin, to mean drinking fountain. And I think the reason that I found that out to begin with was taking one of those US dialect quizzes. And in that, I remember in the East Coast where bubbler was used in the exact same sense. And I think it does in fact mean water fountain. Let's take a look. A bubbler is what you might call a water fountain in New England states. However, this is also a slang word for water fountain in Wisconsin. I know my stuff if the right word happens to come up, and I've read about it before. Creamy, which I noticed isn't spelled the same way that something that is laden with cream would be spelled. So I'm assuming it doesn't mean that, and that would also just be the obvious choice. creamy. It still suggests that, you know, it's describing something. I'm just picturing somebody in New York or Boston or somebody with a thick accent out east saying it and trying to picture just how it could be used and what the mood would be behind it. Something is, it's creamy. Do you want a creamy coffee? That would still put me in the realm of creaminess. So I don't think it's to do with that. Again, if all else fails, I just default to clothes. So it's a thing, it's a noun, it's a creamy, you wear it, it's a type of hat. You wear a creamy on your head. Ooh, that sounds dirty. Let me take a look, let's just see what comes up. It is a noun, this is a slang term from Vermont specifically, apparently, that just means soft serve ice cream. Huh. So really, I mean, it was within that realm, I suppose, of creaminess. So an example, let's get some creamies after the movie.
Alright, so let's assume that this isn't the app. This is something that you would use to, you know, make your smokables more smokable. You would use it to process, like, solid meat steaks into a sausage. Or what I'm guessing it is the terminology from right around here, which is an oven-baked sandwich.
Grinder? Is that not just another word for blender or something of that ilk? It can't be, because they never are, these words. Grinder could just mean, someone who's a grafter. You know, it's another word for grafter, somebody who works really hard, you know, like me on these I mean, you do most of the work, but me, I'm a grinder because I just put in so many hours of work doing this channel. That's got to be it. Let's have a look at the actual meaning here. Grinder is Boston slang. It's a word that is often used to describe a sub sandwich. It's like America cannot make its mind up on what to call that. Case.
That's a sub sandwich. It is a 6-inch bun. Sub sandwich is called a hoagie.
It's in point. Hoagie is another word that Americans use for a sub sandwich, but specifically in Pennsylvania, and I only know this because I visited Pennsylvania last year. Did I mention that? Yeah, I did. If you've not seen the video, you should check it out.
It's a good video.
So let's just confirm. Noun, this means the same thing as grinder. This slang is more specific to Pennsylvania. Jawn.
No
If this
idea.
isn't a portmanteau, I don't know what it is. It has to be. It sounds like it's taking the word yawn and then merging it with a J word of some kind. Is it, and this would be very niche, is it when you jump and yawn at the same time? Has anyone ever done that? Is it even possible? Way. I know there are certain things that it's impossible to do, like sneeze and yawn at the same time. Jawn, that can't be the definition. That sounds stupid. Or is it one of those things where two words have been abbreviated? There's usually, though, an apostrophe to indicate that. Does it mean something like, do you want to? Do you wanna? John? That is a stretch, isn't it? Let's look it up. A noun. This is a very generalized slang word used in Philly to describe any object, person, or place. It's kind of like saying thing when you can't remember what something is called. So again, it's kind of like thingamajig. Nasty.
If we're looking for the slang definition, that means intercourse?
Which is a universal word in the English language, so I'm guessing it's not the normal meaning of nasty. It probably means the opposite, in fact, because that often happens. So nasty could mean, oh, it's really nice. Because I think the word nice used to mean nasty, didn't it? Or at least it had a negative connotation. Maybe East Coasters have done something similar with the word nasty. That is going to be wildly off the mark. So nasty is an adjective. This sounds like a bad thing, but it's actually good. It means you're really good at something. So I was close. I was close. So an example would be, he says that he's nasty in the kitchen, but I know that his cooking is actually musty. What does musty mean? Pie. Pie? It almost seems like for a lot of these words, East Coasters have taken existing words and just given them a twist. Pie could mean a lot of things. I mean, it could be dirty. I've heard that connotation too. Suspect it's not that, because you wouldn't have put this in the list if that was the case. I don't know. I'm thinking a noun. Again, it could be clothing. Pie is a type of scarf. Wearing a pie around your neck and cream on your face. I've really created quite the image for a lot of you, haven't I? I don't know what pie is. Pie, a common East Coast slang for pizza. Of course it is. There's the song, isn't there? You know, when the moon hits my eye like a great pizza pie. Those aren't the lyrics, but it was close enough. Paunch.
Nope.
Is that anything to do with poncho?
Got nothing.
Again, defaulting to clothes, but you can see why I would do that here. Paunch, paunch, paunch. I don't know why, but it sort of sounds like slang for steal, like to punch something. I'm going with that. I'm going with paunch means theft. It just means to steal something. That's my best guess. Paunch, noun, a small beer belly. Oh, right, like a paunch. I think we'd say paunch. P-A-U-N-C-H. Example, she has a bit of a paunch, but she's still cute. Not my words, the words of this website. Slipping, without a G.
You're
the standards of
messing up.
English are slipping.
You're slipping.
Could mean that. That's not my opinion. It was just a joke. But I don't know what the word slipping would mean, other than, of course, I'm slipping over. Suspect it's not that again. I think this one means to get drunk. We were slipping at the bar. Sounds like slurping, so you can slurp a drink and also get drunk and therefore slip over because you're more clumsy and your cognitive abilities aren't what they were an hour before you started drinking. I've no idea what this is, so I'm going to take a look. Slipping. So apparently on the East Coast, slipping is a verb meaning when you're not focusing or paying enough attention to something.
You're messing up.
All right, next up, spocky.
I have no idea.
It's just a funny word. I can't not laugh.
Can't
at
even
that.
guess.
I hope it doesn't have a really serious definition. Well, I mean, it sounds like somebody who's kind of full of energy. They're quite spocky, they're quite spry. My cat is spocky. Gosh, I hope this doesn't mean something terrible. So spocky, I think, means energetic. Spocky is a noun. If you're in Boston, you may occasionally hear this term instead of sub or grinder. It's another type of sub. This is wild how many there are. I just don't think, I couldn't eat something that's called a spocky.
Yeah.
It just sounds like I would get poisoned. Tonic. I know this one, and again, it goes back to that dialect quiz, right? One of the things that came up in that dialect quiz was the sort of regional differences as to how Americans say pop or soda or Coke as they do in the South. And tonic was something that came up in the sort of Boston area, I think. Again, it just meant the same thing. It was just a way of saying fizzy drink, soda, pop. So let's see, a noun. You might hear older people in New England using this one, so it's possibly one that's on the way out. Tonic refers to just about any carbonated beverage, including seltzer water and soda. What's poppin'?
What's the house, yo?
Apparently the letter G is poppin' out of existence, unless you order a grinder. What's poppin'? I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward. I'm guessing it just means what's going on, what's up. You know, it seems like there are 1,000 ways of asking that question between Britain and America. Maybe that's worth a video just on its own, but I'm guessing that's what it means. What's poppin'? An expression, an older slang expression that basically just means what's up. You can also use it to ask how someone is doing. Well, isn't that the purpose of what's up? Or have Americans genuinely been asking me this whole time what's above me? That'd be strange. And this is the last one,
Wicked Sweet,
which is the name of a Wizard of Oz inspired musical. But also, I think just like with the word nasty, in Boston and I think in the East Coast has a kind of opposite meaning to what we think of as something being wicked. I think it just means that it's good, right? It's a kind of adjective to mean that something is, wow, that's great, it's cool, it's amazing. Maybe I'm not being specific enough, but that's sort of how I've always interpreted it. That something's wicked good.
He's right.
Wicked good. Did I do that? That was terrible, wasn't it? That was wicked bad. Ah, no, I've been misunderstanding this whole time.
Oh.
It's more of an intensifier that you'd sort of stick before a word. Kind of like what we do with bloody. That's bloody great, right, in England.
Yep.
Wicked good it's just really good. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you use any of these words. And also, if there are other regions of the United States that you would like me to apply this series to. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS.
Definitely do that. I think I got half of them. That is kind of rude. Because this is supposed to be East Coast words. And it's basically just words from New England. So that's a little bit misleading as a title. Still a good video, though. If you enjoyed the content, link's going to be in the description below. Head over to Lost in the Pond. Show Lawrence some love with a subscribe and get the video one of these. While you're here, I'm not saying you have to, but if you're feeling generous, pressing that button under my face helps get the video out with the algorithm. And if you slap that big red button that says subscribe, you get to help me stick it to YouTube for restricting my content. Till next time, I love you all. Be notorious.